okay. One of the comments on Event Hubs, not that one, pointed out that it might be a bit unfair to compare PC when it's running at 240 Hz, whereas PlayStation is somewhere between 60 and 120. So I've set this up. This is the PC outputting onto Inzone M3 at 120 Hz. So settings are borderless window, VSync off, GSync engaged, and then the output capped to 120 Hz, 119.80. So I'll give this the full kind of 3-minute run and see what happens. I think, and even I find it not particularly straightforward. There is a bit of dyssynchrony between talking about frames per second and hertz. So far as I understand it, Marvel vs. Capcom is a 60 frames per second game, and indeed, it's probably almost impossible to read, but it's 60 FPS up in the corner there. How quickly that arrives on the screen is then kind of up to the video card or the cable. So normally I'd have the PC set at 240 Hz, but we've dropped that back to 120 in this instance for the test. I guess the effect of dropping that speed back, or the reason or need to do it, kind of comes down to a question of what are we trying to show with the test. So if you're trying to test like versus like, then I think it's reasonable to drop it back to at least 120 Hz. As per the long update that I've made on my website, my understanding is the PlayStation 5 does not have particularly good handling of 60 frame per second content on 120 Hz output, and that leads to an input delay penalty, whereas my gut feeling is when the Xbox Series release for Marvel vs. Capcom Collection comes out, even if the video interrupt signal is 58 milliseconds, I reckon the phototransistor one will probably be at 120 Hz with VRR on or off between 58 to 66 milliseconds, whereas the PS5 is like 66 or 68 to 74. So, I mean, I think the fairest comparison would be 120 Hz, but it'll be interesting to see what the PC does when you limit it to 60 Hz. My gut feeling is, and we'll find out in about a minute or two, that it'll still come out a bit quicker than the PC, probably about 40 milliseconds or so, but we'll see. Anyway, this is almost done. Yeah, all right, so it comes out at, so just quickly, PC testing can fluctuate a bit. I found that sometimes when I turn it on for like the borderless window VSync off, it'll be 20 to 24, sometimes it'll be 16 or 15s to 19s to 20s. In this instance, I did a quick 0 before I began, so 16 to 20 was what it was giving me. So looking at this result, so I've got 18, 239, 19, 910, 24, 11, 24, 413, and 25, 502. So about 6 to 7 milliseconds between the slowest result and the fastest result, running a 120 Hz signal. So that's pretty good. Anyway, I'll drop it down to 60 Hz, see what happens, and then post them up.